always like to start these things off with just like some general important questions, some really like earth-shattering questions. So, if your life was a TV show, who would play you?
Matthew McConaughey comes to mind.
Oh, all right. All right. If you could have a superpower, but only one, what would it be?
Only one.
Mm-hmm.
Time travel.
Time travel, really? Forward or back?
Time travel.
Oh, either way.
Any way I want.
I would, yeah. I'd go forward, time travel. Can only go back, so far. Yeah, forward.
Yeah. Imagine going back to the day that somebody announced this thing called Bitcoin and it was 6 cents. And we just, leave a note. You ever watch The Office?
Yeah, of course.
Remember when Jim was sending Dwight notes via fax from future Dwight?
Yeah, from future Dwight. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So maybe I can't be seen, because matter can't exist. Same matter can't exist in the same space.
Mess up the
same
time
definitely
continuum or something.
But I would totally send myself a fax from future me and say, hey, dude, you got like $7 in your account. Buy 6 cent Bitcoins.
Bitcoin right now. Yeah. Right now. Yeah.
And don't forget where you put it.
Yeah. I would do that too. And also like, hey, watch out for that wall. Don't run into that wall or whatever. Maybe lottery or something too. That'd be a good idea.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's even better than better than Bitcoin.
I'd go future. I think I'd spend a lot of time in the future because I can come back here and like, I've got this great idea, y'all.
I like it.
Yeah, that's what I would end.
What would your idea be?
I don't know. Something from the future, like something that we, think about it. Like 5 years ago, would we have been thinking about AI and stuff that we're using today? Like, no way.
Well, I mean, you said you were a movie buff before we started. Kind of Terminator back in the 80s told us this was going to happen.
That's true. The Skynet
stuff.
Yeah,
like that's Chat GPT.
Skynet.
Yeah, sure. Sky GPT.
Sky GPT. Yeah, for sure. All right, man. So tell me about the Goal Guide. Like, why did you start it, and tell me what it is you do.
All right, thanks, man. That's I'll get to why I started it, but it's important to understand who I was when I started it.
Okay.
So, I left the Marine Corps back in 2006 after an 8-year tour, and I got into sales. I was doing pretty well, grew through the ranks, worked for a few different companies, led a team for Xerox, became a director of sales for another tech company. And, outside looking in, life was just peachy. I'm that guy with the motivational quotes on Facebook and everything, beautiful wife. Yeah. Beautiful wife, nice job, nice house, great car. But inside, I just felt like I didn't want to be here. Just angry, frustrated, no idea what I wanted. I just knew what I had was not what I wanted. And it's like, it felt like all the walls were crashing in at every moment. I would be going to work, going to a job I hated, hoping I wouldn't get fired that day.
Really?
It's like, and there's so many people that do that. But somebody introduced me. This was the irony of it. This guy I know on Facebook reaches out and says, hey, Eric, meet Julie. You two are the most positive people I know. So it's like this facade I have, in the outworld, in the outside, that everything's peachy and I'm happy-go-lucky, but in the inside, just hate it.
Yeah.
So I met Julie. We get together for coffee, and she happens to be a life coach. So I'm like, what is a life coach? Yeah. What do you guys do? As she started talking to me about the problems she helps people with, it's like God is like tapping me on the shoulder, like, dude, there's a reason you're here with Julie. So I'm like, Julie, I got to hire you. Here's what I'm going through. And the first thing we did was set very clear goals.
Okay.
And what I realized is that the next morning, having a purpose for waking up, she had me journaling. She had me thinking about my future. She had me doing things that I didn't really think to do before. And I woke up earlier. I woke up happier. I was more energized. My focus went away from everything I wasn't happy with to everything I'm creating.
Yeah.
And once I was done with Julie, I was a completely transformed person. just like that.
Wow.
Probably within 6 months.
Okay.
My mindset was different. The way I saw the world was different. And back then, I joined the John Maxwell team so I could become a better leader for the folks that I was leading in sales. And when you join the John Maxwell team, they have 2 different lanes you can go. One is to establish your own business as a corporate trainer, coach, and speaker. And the other one is to develop your leadership skills.
Yeah.
So I went for this, but then I was surrounded by all these people who are starting their coaching and training businesses. And I'm like, well, I could probably do this. So I cold called 10 business owners in Baltimore. I said, hey, we're going to run a mastermind group. I'll do it for free. I just need some testimonials and to test my skills out. We're going to do it on a book called 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. It's by John Maxwell. And after the 10 weeks, 4 of them came to me and asked if I could come to their company and do a similar thing.
Yeah.
So that's where my business was born. Yeah, I'm like, well, what's the business going to be? The goal guide. I help people take them and guide them to their goals. And you want to be a guide and not a travel agent, right? Like the travel agent.
For sure. Yeah. Sure.
You go to a travel agent and they're like, you tell them where you want to go. They book it all for you and send you on your way.
Yeah.
But if you want to go and climb Mount Everest, you don't go to a travel agent. You go to a guide.
Yeah.
He takes you by the hand. They know every step. They guide you to where you want to go.
I mean, they call that like a Sherpa, right? Sherpa. Yeah. All right. So like if I want to create better goals, I want to create real obtainable goals, what would you tell me to do?
Well, I'm of the belief that if you can think it, it's obtainable.
Okay.
Like, where do thoughts come from?
My brain.
There's nowhere in your brain where there's anything that creates thoughts.
Where does it come from?
Well, I believe thoughts are energy.
Okay.
Energy can't be created nor destroyed. Okay. Energy is always flowing from a higher source to a lower source.
Okay.
There's only 2 things in this world, energy and matter, right? So since thoughts are not matter, they have to be energy.
Sure. Okay.
So some people will say that, certain energy is always existing and you don't get the thought, you become aware of the thought because you're now vibrating at a higher frequency.
Okay.
And therefore, if you had the thought, then it's possible for you.
Because you had the
thought. Have you read Think and Grow Rich?
Yes, years ago.
Okay. So it's fresh on my mind because I have a group of entrepreneurs whom I coach, and we just went through Think and Grow Rich through the lens of entrepreneurship. And like we went deep.
Okay.
And the whole book, really, what he's talking about is when you become aware of the thought, you have kind of 2 options there. One is focused energy, using your willpower to focus your energy on that thought, visualizing yourself already having created that, which was the thought seedling,
right?
Turning that into a burning desire, creating definite plans for it, and then taking action to it.
Okay.
And then on the back end of that is monitoring your fears, watching who you're surrounding yourself with, because you might have a thought, Chris, but you used to sleep in your car.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
A lot of people might not know that about you.
No.
Before you started a business. And so a guy who was at one point homeless, who was doing random jobs just to take care of his family, will get a thought that says, you should start your own business.
Yes.
But then there's this programming running underneath that says, dude, who's going to buy from you?
Yeah.
You're a homeless guy.
Right.
Go run your little jobs. No one's going to buy from you.
Right.
And so at that moment, you have a choice either to believe that or silence it and focus all your energy on starting the business.
Executing.
Which you did.
Yeah.
You had a vision. You had a burning desire. You had a no matter what, I'm going to make it work attitude. You had to.
I was hungry, baby.
You were hungry.
Hungry.
I didn't know you back then, but I know you had to do that to get to where you are today. Yes. There's no other way it could have been done.
Facts.
Right? And so, number one is any idea you have is attainable.
Okay.
So people will say it attainable or realistic goals. I'm like, if you could see it in your mind, you can see it in your hand.
Ooh. You can see it in your mind. You can see it in your hand.
That's Napoleon Hill. It's not me being all wise and all.
Sounds like it's you being wise.
It is me. It is me. Actually, I just created that.
Lean into that.
Yeah. You heard that quote I keep telling people?
That's right. You came up with it.
I came up with it. So
go ahead.
Yeah. So that's number one. Number two, you got to really have a strong why behind it. I know it sounds, like what's his name? Start with why. He wrote that book. Can't remember his name. Anyway,
I know what you're talking about.
Sounds cliche, right? Like you have to have a strong why.
It's not cliche.
It's not cliche at all, because that why is going to help you stay on track and stay focused. Because the biggest ingredient, like if me and you were baking a success soup,
right,
or stew, number one ingredient is going to be failure and setbacks.
For sure.
You got to throw that in.
What's going to happen?
And so our school systems teach us from a very young age that failing is bad.
Right, they do.
And so at the very first sign of failure, a lot of people quit on the goal.
They do.
And what we learn in Think and Grow Rich, and what I teach people is never, you marry the goal. You date the plan.
Yeah.
And like a famous philosopher, Mike Tyson, said, everybody has a plan until
they get punched in the mouth.
They get punched in the mouth. And we all are going to get punched in the mouth. So just defining that as, oh yeah, I got punched in the mouth. That's exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. So many people are like afraid of the failure. And when they get the failure, they turn tail.
It's our programming.
Man.
It makes perfect sense because, if you got an F in school, what did your mom do?
Yeah, you got in trouble for it.
Got in trouble.
For sure.
Yeah, you don't want to get in trouble.
Trained us that way.
Right.
Hang tight one sec. Can you grab this?
What?
The water.
Mm-hmm.
Put it, because it's going to be on the table. Can you put it down there for me? Jacqueline's going to yell at me. No, I'm just kidding. I certainly when I started, I ran into failures and I was discouraged. That's normal. But I realized that every time I failed at something, I learned. I got better. I never did it again. Well, not never, but I learned from that experience how to not do it again, right? And became almost excited about trying something new, even if there was a failure in front of it. I'm excited to fail in this action because I'm going to get stronger. I'm going to get better the very next day. That was a big thing for me, is just being comfortable with failing. I think entrepreneurs that aren't comfortable with that are most of the ones that don't make it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with it.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I'm comfortable.
But I know what it is.
Yeah.
Right? And it's first you got to really applaud yourself. We're very quick to judge us for all our negatives and failures, and every time we suck, and we focus on that.
Be hard on ourselves.
But we also have to be our own champion. Right? We got to be able to say, oh man, you know what? Yeah, that didn't work out, but how brave were you for taking the action?
Yeah.
You're that type of guy that's going to take the risks that others won't. Mm-hmm. And the more of those you do, the more you increase your chances of success.
That's right.
And so we have to be our own champion. We're too easy. That self-talk, the inner game within us, we say stuff to ourselves we'd never say to our neighbors, to our
even in public a lot of times.
Even in public, yeah.
I mean, I'm going to go back real quick because earlier you said one of the steps was to make definite plans. And that's that keyword, that definite plans. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by make definite plans?
Yeah. Have a definite purpose.
Okay.
And if I said definite plans, I don't mean elaborate 85-step plans.
Right.
A definite plan means one step. It could mean one step.
Yeah.
My plan today is to go call, to go knock on 20 doors. That's a definite plan. Go do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people get stuck on not knowing the how they're going to do it. All right, I want to start a business, but I don't know how to get to step 15. Or I don't know how to get to that. I don't know where I would even get all my clients. Well, you're not there yet. Go incorporate first.
Yeah. Start step 1.
Yeah. Step 1, go incorporate. That's a definite plan for today. Step 2, get really good at your craft. Step 3, build your personal brand. Start telling people about it. Go meet people. Go and then doors just open up.
They do. They do. And you can be on a step, you can be on the journey of a step and still move on to the next step. You can start building your personal brand. That's going to take years or months or whatever.
Exactly.
But you can, what's the very next step? What's number 4? But then you just focus on that.
Yeah. And chances are whatever number 4 is that you thought was going to be number 4 at step 1, it's going to be completely different.
Probably going to be step 24.
Yeah, it might be step 24, 54. Yeah. Doesn't matter. The plan doesn't matter. So marry the goal. Don't marry the plan.
I love it. When I started, I learned to reverse engineer everything. So my goal was X, and then I would talk about, to myself, what's it going to take for me to get there? And there's the steps, right? Mm-hmm. There's the plan. And some of them were, I'm going to go into 20 businesses today. And that's all I needed to focus on. Like, bro, I didn't need to focus on making a sale. I didn't need to focus on getting a consultation or what. All I needed to focus on was going into those 20 damn doors. Everything else was going to fall into place.
That's it.
Yeah, man. Talk to me about one of the things that entrepreneurs struggle with a lot is work-life balance. Talk to me about your work-life balance.
I don't believe really there's this thing called balance.
Okay.
I think to get anything done, you have to have focused energy for a sustained period of time on that one thing.
Yeah.
Like if me and you are chopping down a tree, or no, I'll use a different scenario. We're here in beautiful Sarasota.
Right.
Me and you go hang out on Siesta Key Beach, and it's 100 degrees outside, bright sunny day.
Right.
What's going to happen to our skin?
I'm going to get burnt up.
Yeah. After how long?
Look at my golden brown skin, man. An hour.
I'm a little jealous. An hour. Okay. An hour, you're going to get burnt up. But what would happen if I took a magnifying glass and just placed it between you and the sun?
Even hotter.
For how long? How long do you think it'll take you to burn?
A minute.
2 minute, 2 minutes. Yeah. Exactly. And so that's why it's so important to have focused energy. Same sun, same Chris.
Right.
Focus differently.
Yeah.
Will burn you in 2 minutes. Yeah. Not even.
Yeah. Cool.
Right. You can burn a hole through your whole arm with that energy. It becomes a laser.
Just do that on papers.
So I think work-life balance. One, your spouse is probably the most important decision you're going to make in your life.
Right.
And this may not be popular, but if you have a vision or a dream and the person you're married to is a handbrake for it,
right,
you got to change the person you're married to.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, but it's got to be done.
It's reality, though. Yeah,
it's reality.
On the same page.
Most people don't do it. They give up on their dream, but what would happen is they start resenting the person they're with.
100%.
And they start hating life. Yeah. And that's not good for your kids, your family, for anybody. So number one is pick the right partner.
Yeah.
Once the right partner is picked, you have to be able to communicate with them. Yeah. And so, hey, sweetheart, hey, honey, look, I'm working on this project. Here's what it's going to require. I have to be gone these nights. I'm not going to be able to attend this and this and this. You okay with that? Here's another option for you or something like that. Sit down and communicate that with them.
Yeah, you both got to be on the same page.
You do.
Because he or she has to be your greatest supporter, maybe second greatest behind yourself.
Yeah.
So they're a champion for you as well. They got to have your back.
Exactly. So, security and balance. I mean, you can go to jail or work for the government if that's what you want. Entrepreneurship is not balanced and it's not secured. You create your own,
No, I mean, I don't, the whole term work-life balance, like, do I have work-life balance today more than I did 10 years ago? Yeah, probably. But I think that we all go through, to your point, I think we go through seasons, and if I remember the first 2 years of Agento, the first 3 or 4 years of Agento, I would work like day and night, and even when I would leave the office and go home, I was just to go home and eat because that's where the food was.
Yeah.
Go home and eat and then do some more work. Like it was life. And so I don't subscribe to the idea that we should work till our eyeballs bleed every day of our lives. But in a season, if you've got something you're trying to accomplish and it takes you working 70 hours a week, you got to work 70 hours a week. If the goal is what you want, then this is what it takes.
Yeah.
You're just going through that season.
What was your vision back then for Agento?
Man, my first year, my vision was to eat dinner. I'm not kidding. My first year, it was not a business. It was, how can I put food on the table? Literally. About a year into it, I realized this is something, this is a business, so to speak. And so I got legal and, all that stuff. It was less, the kids nowadays, they call it a side hustle. That's probably what it was then, it was, this is what I'm going to do full time. I'm going to make this work no matter what. And then it became, now I can create this legacy.
Because you also worked at night at Goodwill, if I remember correctly.
Worked an overnight shift at the Goodwill. Shouts out to the Goodwill, Weber and Beneva here in Sarasota. I still see it sometimes. Yeah, I worked midnight to 8 at the Goodwill. And then from 9 to can't stay awake anymore. I'm going to run my business.
And so what's required for that is a strong vision and desire.
Right.
Because if you don't have that, it won't pull you.
No, you gotta have
just go get 3 jobs, and if you want to eat,
motivation had to be there. Yeah. I wanted, a year into it, I realized this is something, and I can build.
Yeah.
A career and a company and employ people and empower those people, and it evolves. The vision I had even in year 2 it's different slightly than here in year 13. Goodness.
Yeah, but what's once you were good and the basic needs were met for food, what was the vision for 5 or 10 years of Agento? Like when you were dreaming about it, what were you seeing?
When I dreamt about it, after that survive mode fell off. For me, Agento, the business, is an asset. Right. It's an asset. And the goal of it is to create, obviously, jobs and fulfilled employees and stuff like that. But long term, I want to create impact in my community. Okay. Agento is the tool to do that. Right. It provides jobs for people that go out into the community fulfilled, and they give to the community. It provides me the opportunity to give financially or give of my time to an organization, to a mission that I believe in. And so when I dreamt about it, I dreamt about when I'm dead and gone, I dreamt about something that people would show my daughter that I did. I'm not the type of guy that's like, hey, this is the family business, you got to come do this. But something that people will remember, that was a good guy. He did right by people. And this is the impact that he had on our community. That's what I dreamt about. Still dream about it.
So that's a pull. Yeah. Now, when you have a dream like that, once you involve the daughter, and you have a dream like that, what's going to stop you from achieving it? Nothing.
You're
going to go through the walls.
That's right.
And people who set goals and they don't have a strong why, like you said the word motivation. How would you define motivation?
How would I define motivation? The cheese.
Well, the word motivation has motive in it. Right? It's the motive for doing something.
That's right.
What's your reason for it? That's all motivation is helping. You want to motivate somebody, find the reason that's going to get them to do it.
Yeah.
It's the only way to motivate people.
Sure.
And so for you, it was your daughter. Dude, I quit. I used to smoke cigarettes. I started at 14.
Yeah.
And my wife, when I was about 21, 22, I was dating her. She got a job right out of college working for a pharmaceutical company called Boehringer Ingelheim Pharmaceuticals. And the drug that she sold was for COPD or something. Yeah, COPD. I guess that it's a disease for smokers.
Oh, yeah.
She would come home with brochures and show me what happens with like stats and the ugliest, nastiest pictures I've ever seen in my life of like black lungs and everything. Maybe I wasn't 20. Maybe I was like 23, 24. And I couldn't care less. Really? I think I smoked more. Then one day...
Spurred you on?
Yeah. Well, no, it just didn't matter to me. Like none of that, I'm such an optimist. I'm like, yeah, but that's not ever going to happen to me. Yeah. Yeah. I'm past that point. I've been smoking for a long time. I smoked the lights, I'm like, I'm a Marlboro light menthol guy. Those actually cure you. Don't we come up with some excuses like these are menthols. They're
These
good
guys
for
are
you.
smoking on filters.
Yeah. So so that went on for years. And then we had our first son. And at about 3 or 4 months old, I carried him up the stairs and I got the worst cough where I was like coughing up the greenest phlegm. I couldn't breathe. I was out of breath, out of shape. And right there, I called the doctor and said, can you write out Chantix for me? I'm going to quit smoking.
Yeah.
She wrote out a 3-week, I think, or a 30-day supply or something like that. On day 3, I never picked up a cigarette again.
Yeah.
Because I had a strong motive.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing. Before that, you can tell me anything. I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
I think if a doctor would have said, you got lung cancer, you got to quit smoking, I'm not sure I would have quit.
Yeah. You didn't have the right motivation.
Just, yeah, I don't care. I'm not going to die. You're just messing around.
And I smoked and played collegiate basketball and was like, I think I was just telling you that, like, this don't affect me none. What I'm gonna just keep smoking, whatever. But yeah, I mean, family history and whatnot is like, man, if I want to be around, I'm gonna have to quit this.
There you go.
And my daughter was probably, she's 12 now, so she was probably 3-ish, 4-ish. Younger than that, maybe 2, but whatever. The right motivation.
That's it.
Yeah, man. In more recent news, I just want to get your thought on some stuff. So I'm curious, the federal government just recently put a ban on or introduced this idea to ban the platform TikTok. You heard about this?
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
They did not ban TikTok.
They did not ban it yet. No.
Right. And so here are my honest thoughts.
Okay.
If you look at what's happening now with the riots, with this TikTok thing, it's just a distraction. It's not ban TikTok. It's we're going to give them 1 year to sell it to somebody else and then they can keep it on. If it was that bad, like if they truly thought it was that bad for Americans, because their reason is what? China is stealing your secrets.
Right.
So if you just told China, hey, you got 1 more year to steal all the secrets, how serious is it?
Yeah.
It's either serious or it's not serious.
Right.
So Americans have this, we're kind of like puppets. We forgot how to think for ourselves and ask the tough questions. Like, why, if this is bad, don't they just cut it off right now?
Right now.
They can. Because it has nothing to do with TikTok. It has everything to do with, no, don't look over here. Right. We need you to look over here.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that they'll ban it. And I don't think that they'll force them to sell. I think that too many people, well, the reasons you said as well, but too many people are using it as a source of income. It's their pursuit of happiness. And I think that you eliminate that, you're eliminating somebody's pursuit of happiness, which we're not supposed to do, right? That First Amendment and all that stuff. I just don't think that they'll actually go through with banning it. But you're right. They're focusing here instead of...
Nobody's going to even remember this in a year.
No. What actually also really makes me mad, I do a lot with the Salvation Army and homelessness, man, and it's like, y'all can all get together and talk about TikTok, but you can't figure out how to feed the homeless. You can't figure out how to shelter the veterans. You can't. You gotta be kidding me. It really like grinded my gears, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. How do people find you? Like, how do you get clients?
Nowadays, a lot of referrals for one-on-one.
Okay.
Last year, I got this idea for group coaching.
Okay.
I want to help entrepreneurs who aren't making 6 figures have access to a coach that can help them get their business to 6 figures.
Okay.
And so I created this group called Relentless Goal Achievers. Okay. And that's like my passion project now. So I got 58 people in there now. It's like, 1 foot once forward, 3-step back. You know, it's like you get a few people in and a few people drop out. Get a few, because I wanted to make it super simple. There's no commitment.
Right.
So month to month, very low entry in, $97 a month. But in there, you get coaching twice a week. We're doing book studies every week. You have a community. I bring in experts to talk about different topics that'll help with entrepreneurship. And so the way I'm doing that now is a lot of content marketing.
Okay.
And literally reaching out one-on-one.
Yeah.
The other way I'm really finding is, I did this morning. It's kind of slick. I'm in a group with coaches, right?
Okay.
Like there's John Maxwell has tens of thousands of coaches globally. 90% of them are not successful. They don't know, you can give them all the information in the world. They don't take the action,
Right.
whether it's self-limiting beliefs, whether it's just drinking from a fire hose, not knowing where to start first. So I know that they desire a certain level of income, and I know that they desire some structure, and they desire knowing what to do next.
Yeah.
So last few weeks have been really good for me financially, and everything comes through Stripe. I literally took screenshots of my Stripe payments that came in.
Yeah.
And they ranged from, the lowest was $47 a month, the highest was $10K.
Yeah.
And anything in between. And it's like every single day there are payments coming in. Blocked out the names.
Sure.
And then I posted these screenshots into that group, and I said, I've been doing this since 2014, but if I started out today, here are the 4 things that I would do. And I literally told them the 4 steps that I would do as a coach if I was a brand new coach today.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, within 2 hours, there were 40 reactions, and I can't even tell you how many comments.
Yeah.
But from there, I got at least 7 people who reached out and said, can we hop on a call? I want to learn more about how you do, right?
100%.
So now these people, I've built authority, right? What have I done? If we're looking at principles of influence, I've built authority, and I'm going to build reciprocation by helping them.
Yeah.
I'm going to give them first. And so they scheduled calls with me. They're on my calendar. We're going to hop on a call. I'm going to learn about their challenges, goals, what do they think is stopping them from being where they want to be?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to either introduce my group that can help them for sure, or potentially one-on-one coaching.
I love it. That's really slick. Finishing up, man, like for an aspiring entrepreneur, right? Even like some of the folks you're talking to in your group, they're under 100K. Like, if you could only give them one piece of advice, somebody watching this episode, what would you lean on? What would you tell an aspiring entrepreneur?
Oh, build your personal brand.
Personal brand.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
That would be that's what I would double, triple, quadruple down on. Step 1.
How have you built your personal brand?
Well, I wish I had this idea 8 years ago. I didn't know, because before it's like, if I'm putting out a video, I'm thinking about, well, what will others think? Well, I'd love to do business with, Lockheed Martin. If an executive from Lockheed Martin is watching this, who should I be for them?
Right.
And I realized, like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
I'm being 18 different people to 18 different potential clients.
Right.
None of them called me. Yeah. And I just started being authentic, man. Like, I show up most places in a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I got dressed up for you because you're pretty fancy. I put a polo on.
I'm coming from something else, but I appreciate that.
Yeah. And just talk the truth, talk what I know. Not like, I'm not reading a book, learning about it, and then teaching it. I just get out there and I speak it.
Yeah.
So, what really works is authenticity. Like they say, people will like you for your successes. They're going to love you for your failures.
Mm-hmm.
And so getting out there and sharing failures will pay off way more than any successes.
It's real.
It's real.
Yeah.
So I just sent a mass email out sharing this story. Young Xerox manager, right? And I was like the serious gung-ho guy at Xerox. I was looking to recruit people for my sales team, and I had this goofy VP of sales who was just happy-go-lucky, like everybody loved him, So he pulls me into his office and he's like, all right, so how do you pick your candidates? I'm like, well, most of the time when I'm interviewing them, they say, and I ask them, why do you want to get into sales? they say things like, I'm really good with people, I love people, and things like that. And he says, this is behind closed doors. He tells me, he's like, listen, my dog is great with people and loves people. That doesn't mean he's going to be a good salesperson.
That's right.
And it was such a lesson, right? So forward, like 3 days later, I find myself interviewing this young lady, and she is the best candidate that I've had so far. I'm like, oh my God, I would love to have her on my team. She is amazing. So sure enough, I say, so why do you think you'd be good in sales? Why do you want to get into sales? You see where this is going.
Yeah.
She says, oh, I love people. I said, well, dogs love people. That doesn't make them, good salespeople.
Yeah.
And we just finished off the interview, and I'm like, hey, this is great. Next step is we'll probably bring you in for a final interview. So the process was HR interviews, I interview, and then a panel interviews, including like the president of our location. So like 2 weeks go by and I don't hear anything. I called the recruiter and I emailed the recruiter. I'm like, what happened to that? What happened to her? Because she was like, I really want her to interview for the final interview. And the response was, has nobody talked to you about this? Like, no.
Please do, though.
And, that's where like your heart jumps a little bit. I had no idea what was going on. I thought the interview, this is the crazy part. I thought the interview was amazing.
Yeah.
Right? I thought it was like the best interview ever. So I go to the VP of sales. I'm like, were you supposed to talk to me about that one? He's like, close my door.
Close the door?
Yeah. He said, did you call that young lady a dog?
Oh, no.
Like,
what?
I said, no, I didn't call her a dog. I said what you told me. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. He said, she reached out to human resources and said she would still consider potentially joining the company, but she could never, ever work on your team.
Wow.
Because you called her a dog.
What?
So I shared that story as just to share, like, hey, I sucked at communicating. Not only that, I didn't even realize I did anything wrong.
Yeah, you didn't even know.
How often as leaders do we do that, right? But when you share things like that, I think people connect.
Yeah.
Because we're all dumbasses at one point.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
I love the being authentic. That's I would probably lean into that as
got to learn to laugh at yourself,
learn
man.
to laugh at yourself, have fun with yourself. I mean, at the end of the day, like, just don't take yourself so seriously all the time,
Yeah.
If I were to tell an aspiring entrepreneur one thing, I'd probably lean on authenticity. Tactically, man, I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. Like, how many contacts you think are in your phone right now? Ballpark.
Like 3,000 or something.
3,000. Yeah. Same here. I'm not like a super popular guy or anything like it, but probably about 3,000. Like, man, if I were going to start a business today, aside from being authentic, I would pop that bad boy open and I'll start sending text messages to everybody in there and tell them what I'm doing and not ask for the sale. I would say, hey, Eric, hope you're well. Haven't seen you since we worked together 2 years ago. Listen, I'm starting this company. This is what I'm going to do. It would mean the world to me if you know somebody who has a need in that area, that industry, if you'd send them my way. Thanks, take care. And that's it. Like, reach out to everybody in there, not ask for the sale, tell them what I'm doing, and then just from those 3,000, I'd get, 50, 40, right, opportunities, and treat all 40 of them like they were my only client, And then from there, just boom, 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 boom. When I started, we had cell phones. It's not that long ago, but like, I didn't have 3,000 contacts. But we're just so connected now more than ever. That's what I would do, man. Yeah.
So tactically, can I add to that?
Please.
Before, if you are going to do that, which is a great idea, before you do that, you have to give people specific instructions.
Yeah.
Kind of like you guys are digital marketing.
Right.
You would never just have a general call to action or multiple call to actions on one page, right? And so similarly here, and the reason for that is because people won't really know what to do. There's no direction.
Right.
What you'll get is, oh yeah, definitely.
Yep.
And they'll forget. But before you send that text, what would be better is if you we're very clear on who you help, what problems they have, and how you can help them. And so sending that same text message and saying, hey, I'm so excited to start a new company. Wonder if you could help me out. I'm looking for realtors who specialize in selling homes over $1 million, who want a bigger reach. Maybe you're seeing them on Facebook. Maybe you see them always trying to market themselves. Could you make introductions for me? Because I have this special way I uncovered that I can help them grow their business.
Love it. I love the specificity.
Oh yeah. Cause now they're like, as soon as you say that, they're like, oh, I know Jamie and I know John and I know Cindy, right? And they're like, yeah, I got you, Chris. I'm going to send it.
Exactly.
But if you're like, hey, I'm starting this new company, if you know anybody.
You're right. I like that a lot.
Right?
Yeah.
That's number one. If you want tactics, I got some tactics. I mean, I'm working with entrepreneurs and we're coming up with cool stuff. So we talked about personal branding, and one of the ways to do that is content marketing, right? So meaning you're getting on camera, you're sharing a quick story, you're talking about how that applies to your business, and you're giving them a call to action, right? So that's pretty much the framework. But what are the stories that people want to watch? Most people, they're like, oh yeah, this sounds great. Then they don't know what video to make or what to talk about.
Right.
And so if you've done what I just said to do with Chris, where you've thought about who it is that you want, what problems they're having, and what goals they have, the problems that they're having, just put yourself in their shoes and say, if they're staying up at night worried about this, what are they Googling?
Yes. What keeps them up at night?
Yeah. What keeps them up at night? What are they searching for on Google specifically? So like when I was writing a book, I would be on Google, like, how do you write a book? How do you structure an outline for the book? How do you market a book? How do you sell a book? And what happens, what Google will tell you is what other people asked.
That's right.
Or something along those lines. And there's like 5-6 questions. Those are the top trending things that people are looking for. And so that's your video topic.
That's it right there.
You don't have to go any further. Is that really? Absolutely. I had no idea.
100%.
I'm not even a digital marketing
Come on,
agency.
man. You ready?
And so you go through and you pick the topic, name your video that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And talk about it.
Exclusive.
That's how you create content.
Name your video that.
Exactly.
That's the keywords that popped. That means that people are searching for it. 100%.
I just told you guys Chris's biggest secret.
It's the whole secret. No, actually, I would have gave it to you for free.
That's right.
Value without expectation, man. So
value without expectation.
This has been fun. You're that guy. This has been fun. I really appreciate the time, man. Thanks for joining us.
I love being here. See, Chris is already kicking me out. He's like, can't have you telling them more secrets.
No more
you
secrets,
go.
man. No more secrets. Nah, man. I want to be respectful of your time because as an entrepreneur, that's your most valuable asset.
Yes,
so I appreciate you.
Very true. Thanks for having me, Chris. Thank you guys for watching.